This is Revelation chapter 18, verse 9 in the NLT. And the kings of the world who committed adultery with her and enjoyed her great luxury will mourn for her as they see the smoke rising from her charred remains. They will stand at a distance, terrified by her great torment. They will cry out, how terrible for you, O Babylon, you great city. In a single moment, the Most High's judgment came on you. The merchants of the world will weep and mourn for her, for there is no one left to buy their goods. She brought great quantities of gold, silver, jewels, and pearls, fine linen, purple, silk, and scarlet cloth, things made of fragrant thyine, wood, ivory goods, and objects made of expensive wood and bronze, iron, and marble. She also brought cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, wine, olive oil, fine flour, wheat, cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, and bodies, that is, human slaves. Okay? Shalom, shalom. Before I begin this lesson, all praise, honor, and glory, I want to give to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishop, and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and blessings be multiplied on all you brethren teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and the rest of the elect out there, shalom. I'm the brother Damar Gibar here with another lesson, Lord willing to edify through the spirit and power of Yahweh by Yahweh Shai. All right, and the main point I wanted to bring out was Revelations 18 and 13, how it speaks about, all of the things and the riches and how the nation was made rich through the abundance of the delicacies of Babylon the Great. But the main point, what I want to highlight is how she brought cinnamon, spice, frankincense, olive oils, chariots, horses. It says, and bodies, that is, human slaves. You see, and that's something that's coming out very heavily, upon Esau, Edom, upon Babylon the Great, America, and this whole, power structure is how, human trafficking, all of this satanic, rituals, all of this pedophile rings, all of this, child sex trafficking, whether it's from little babies to minors to even adults, man, is huge business. It's a huge part of this satanic, a satanic pastime for these elites, the governments, the presidents, the higher ups, the Epsteins, this is a huge thing that is being exposed in these last days because it's real. It's not a joke. It's not a game, man. And you see, and as we can see, this is going to lead to the ultimate destruction of Babylon the Great. And now we're seeing these things coming out, at a very, very high level. But this is Psalm 64 and 7. But the Most High shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So shall they make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away, and all men shall fear and shall declare the work of the Most High, for they shall wisely consider of his doings. See? Then this says, the righteous shall be glad in Yahweh, by Hashem Yahweh Shai, and shall trust in him, and all the upright in heart shall glory. You see? The main points being is that the Lord is causing their own tongues to fall upon themselves, and people, now, which we know true justice is not going to happen, through this government and through the powers that be from all of this Epstein bullshit and all of these files that is being released, all of this information that is coming out. We know that their true judgment will come by the hands of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai when he makes his second return. But the point is that, hey, these devils are being exposed. They're causing their own tongues to fall upon themselves, and people are realizing, just how evil and satanic and the amount of witchcraft and sorcery and demonic behavior that really truly runs this world, man. As the scriptures tell you, we're dealing with spiritual wickedness in high places, People are finding out about the secret counsels of the wicked. They're finding out how, left-handedness and wickedness and sorcery and child sacrifice and, all of this wickedness, really controls this world, and how a lot of your favorite entertainers, these so-called celebrities, these so-called well-to-do people are all, caught up in all of these, all of this satanic rituals and all of this wickedness on the left-hand side, man. But the point is, the Lord is causing their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All right. And I'm going to play this clip from Alex Jones, which we know he's he's an insider to some extent. But at the same time, hey, the Lord can use anybody he wants to expose these devils and, have their own tongue to fall upon themselves, man. So I'm going to play this little quick video, about 5-6 minutes of it. And that's going to be the video, man. But hey, the Lord is doing mighty works and the Lord is exposing this devil. So I'm going to play about 5-6 minutes of this video and let that be that. And this is, the prophecy being fulfilled, how their own tongue is falling upon themselves. So let's check this out.
Mainly in key positions is pedophiles. And when I get up here and say that pedophile rings are one of the biggest cults or guilds running Washington, that's just what the facts always show. Their favorite thing is starving to death 4-year-olds, begging for mommy. And then they call it using them up when they finally whimper, give up, roll over, and die. They then have sex with the dead bodies, thank Satan, like Jimmy Savile would do, and go out and grab your next child out of the back of your yard. I remembered Ted Gunderson, and I was reading the things he said, quotes in the 80s about there's a shadow government using pedophilia to control and blackmail the population. And it's setting up networks internationally to bring down the United States. And you don't believe me? Fine. Okay, don't check it out. This is all documented. I don't care how horrible it sounds, it's all documented. I've covered it all here 100 times. I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murdering scum that run giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you know about these people? This was Aleister Crowley stuff. We know pedophile Alan's real, Jeffrey Epstein. We're such self-centered crap that we don't even notice hell itself rising up against us. Mainly in key positions is pedophiles. You're saying, okay, you're taking this out of context. Government loves us. Where do you think the pedophiles go? Because let's admit it, the UN kills hundreds of thousands of kids every year. They get caught all the time. There's 3,500, nothing compared to them. And there's slave brothels and the slave centers and the 1.2 million women they're kidnapping and shipping out of Eastern Europe and Central Europe, and that's mainstream news. I'm sure you might have heard about that. This is all giant UN slave brothels. They've got slave liner ships. That's been in the news. You don't believe me? Fine. Okay, don't check it out. This is all
You see, and this is why I did this lesson for what he is saying, It talks about Babylon the Great, that great city, how, all these nations was made rich through the abundance of her delicacies, all these things that are being shipped and traded, on a global scale. And a huge part of that is human bodies. You see, and he just said it, all these shipping containers, even some of that Epstein information is coming out, how, one of these, I think it was one of those Arab billionaires was, receiving shipping containers from Epstein, for a huge amount of money. What the hell you think was on those shipping containers? And again, fair use. All right. I'm not making any money off of this video. It's all for educational purposes, and, things of that nature, you see. But like he said, there's shipping containers, of, these things that are happening. And now it's not sea theory anymore. Now this stuff is coming out to be facts. And this is stuff that we've been bringing out through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. The scripture, like I just read in Revelation, the 18th chapter, is telling you these things, Now it's to the point to where the Lord is making these things known. The Lord is, bringing those things that are in the dark to the light. So let's go.
Documented. I don't care how horrible it sounds, it's all documented. I've covered it all here 100 times. We're now hearing about 700 missing in Georgia, thousands missing in California. And the government, no one's held accountable. Okay, we don't know where the kids are. We took them from homes. We don't know where they are. And then I predicted, and rightfully so, there'd be a lot of news articles in Florida. Well, they found some of the kids. And I thought they'd say we found 2,000 of them or something. No, we found 5 of them. And when I get up here and say that pedophile rings are one of the biggest cults or guilds running Washington, that's just what the facts always show. Coming up in the second hour, former state senator John DeCamp, who did write about connections to Penn State and child abuse in the 90s. I had forgotten that he'd talked about this. Then I saw a Red Dirt report a few days ago with quotes where he'd been talking about it years ago. Just amazing, the massive child abuse network ring at the highest levels of the Republican Party. He was hired as a big Republican in the state of Nebraska to go basically investigate it and cover it up. I mean, they didn't say, hey, it's real, go cover it up. It was, hey, this is a bunch of bull, Senator DeCamp, go prove it's bull. And so the police investigator he hired, the detective, well-known detective, he and his son's plane was blown up when flying to Chicago to investigate. And the rest, there were indictments, there were convictions. The feds swooped in and covered it all up. So you know about the Catholic Church, you know about Penn State. I mean, what about the Texas Youth Commission?
Right, and let's not forget about the Boy Scouts of America. You know, the Girl Scouts, you know, a lot of these organizations that are like centered around kids where they, you know, like the Boy Scouts and these little events that, you know, these philanthropy they do for children. A lot of those are covered for these P rings, man. A lot of those are, you know, places where a lot of children are gathered. They seem as if they're doing good for these children, helping them in poverty. You know, the whole Penn State thing was a lot of Jake boys being molested and done dirty by that football coach. I forget his name. That's locked up in jail. You know, a lot of these Boy Scouts, the Girl Scouts, a lot of these other organizations that centered around helping children, man, are very, you know, it's a pedophile haven, man. It's just everywhere in the society, but it's hidden. It's presented as, you know, philanthropy and them helping kids and children, but really they love to get their hands on these underprivileged children because they know there's not, you know, a strong father in the house, or is, you know, single mothers raising these children, you know, where they'll allow these kids to go to these programs because the mom got to work. She doesn't have all day to just, you know, spend time with the kids. She has to go work. She has to go, you know, pay the bills, and they leave these children in these after school programs and these different clubs and different children things, but not knowing that it's a breeding ground for these predators, man. Complete and utter wickedness.
All the major youth facilities with gladiatorial fighting, the jail guards selling even, 10-year-old children out in the juvenile correctional facilities to police and judges and people coming in and other wealthy who are part of the pervert club, part of the demon club, to have their way with children all over Texas. The Texas Rangers found out and tried to stop it. They got told to back off. The head of the DPS refused to kill the investigation. He was just removed. So the pedophiles rule Texas as well. So they call the shots, and they're everywhere. They like to get into government control because it's the only place they can operate with basically diplomatic immunity like the UN. During 16 years in office, a former state senator, John DeCamp, was cited even by his enemies at the World Herald as one of the most effective legislators in Nebraska history. A highly decorated Vietnam War veteran, in 1975, he initiated Operation Baby Lift, which evacuated 2,800 orphan Vietnamese children. He is currently a practicing attorney in Lincoln, Nebraska. He served as a lawyer for the Militia of Montana, a constitutional militia group in the 90s. DeCamp has also been lead perspective on Conspiracy of Silence, an unaired documentary on the Franklin child abuse. Well, we aired it. We got it and aired it locally on Access 15 years ago, and it since went viral online. That's where that people always say, have you seen this? Yeah, I've seen it. I'm the one that put it out. He joins us now. And here's the Red Dirt Report. And when I saw this weekend, it punched me. I was like, I remember him saying that. But since it hadn't been in court in the news, I'm like, let's not go there, Senator. But I remember him getting into Boys Town before that all came out, the Catholic Church. I remember him getting into Penn State. And I remember him saying on air more than 10 years ago that the football program, and I'm like, and I know he's credible, but I'm like, okay, Senator, let's just stop right. And folks, by the way, have dug those interviews up now. I'm like, let's just stop right there and just get into what was proven in court. Because people went to jail in Nebraska. He was hired as a big Republican because, to go in and disprove it. They're like, oh, this couldn't be true, Senator. You go disprove it. When his investigator, a police officer, and his son got murdered, the senator started to look closer. So he's going to recap all that. So he was hired as a prominent Republican and a senator to go in there as damage control because, he didn't believe it was real, and found out it was all real and more. I'm angry. I've had enough of these people. They're a bunch of Christian murdering scum that run giant death factories, keeping babies alive and selling their body parts. What more do you need to know about these people? I go out and face these scum. They literally crawl out from under rocks. They have green-looking skin, or they're black or white, doesn't matter. And they run around screaming, we love Satan, we want to eat babies. I have them on video. at the Texas State House, just women randomly going, "Hail Satan," and just praising Satan. When a Democrat group went up there. I mean, folks, this is literally like a demonic invasion. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Or Epstein, who is at the...
Right, and now they're coming out talking about Woody Allen is like a huge cannibal, man. So all this stuff is coming out, man. Hey, the Lord is doing a hell of a work in these last days. And Esau, Edom, hey, he can't hide himself, man. He's being made bare. He's being exposed for the demon that he is. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, man. And we're going to see more and more of this information coming out. But, hey, don't expect true justice to really take place until Yahweh Shai cracks those clouds and come down and is going to deal with these individuals, man. All right. But at the end of the day, you know, hey, the Lord is causing these devil's tongues to fall upon themselves. This information is going to become more and more out there. It's not a game. It's not a sea theory. It's not, people just making this shit up, man. Hey, these all of this odious works of witchcraft and Satanism and witchcraft and these things are real. They exist. These people delve into these different things, man. And it's not a joke and it's not a game, man. So, hey, with that, Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. Until the next one, shalom.